Welcome to Notes 1.8 Part 2. So on the back side, we're going to convert a decimal to a fraction. And to do that, we simply use the last digit to the right of the decimal point as the denominator. So we're just looking for place value here. And so that's what we're going to label. You can have your reference sheet out to label that. So 0.4, what place value is it in? It's in the tenths place value. So what does that mean? We just put it 4 over 10. And then obviously we try and simplify it. 4 over 10 can be reduced or simplified by 2 to get 2 over 5. And so there is your answer, 2/5. Let's try another one. 0.12 hundredths, right? That is in the hundredths. The last digit's in the hundredths place value. So what do I say? I say, okay, that's 12 over 100. And then I just go ahead and simplify. I can divide 12 and 100 both by 4. So if I divide them both by 4, I get something that looks like 3 over 25. 3 over 25. Number 3 and number 4 I'm going to leave for you guys. Again, make sure you label what the place value is. This is the hundredths. And this is also the hundredths. And then also make sure that you simplify your fraction. Now, for decimals greater than 1, the number in front of the decimal, this is going to be our whole number. So you're going to have a mixed number where the number in front of the decimal is your whole number. The decimal portion will be your fraction in the mixed number. So we're still going to label. We're still going to say, that 0.2 is in the tenth spot. And we're going to say, okay, so we have 5 and 2 over 10. The 5 is the whole number, and then we simplify the fraction. So divide by 2, and we get our answer of 5, and 2 divided by 2 is 1, 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 and 1/5. Let's do another one. 3.25, so our whole number is 3, and our last digit, the 5, is in the hundredths spot. So we're going to say 3 and 25 over 100. Now I'm going to stop for a second. If you know what 0.25 as a fraction is, if you say, oh, I know that's 1/4, great, awesome. Like it's good if you can memorize those easy decimals to fractions. It's going to help you in the long run. But also knowing this kind of why 0.25 eventually reduces to 1/4 is good for you as well. All right, so the 5 was in the 100 spots. That's why we put 25 over 100. We can divide them both by 25, and we'll get our answer of 3, and 25 divided by 25 is 1. 100 divided by 25 is 4. 3 and 1/4. Okay, so you guys will be responsible for number 3 and number 4. Lastly, we have a little bit of a challenge. Below are some Class Dojo scores from students. These are made up. Calculate the fraction, percentage, and decimal of their score yesterday. So this is a little interesting because you have to kind of treat it almost like you're shooting free throws, right? If you only have a bunch of positive points and no negative points, or say no misses, then you basically shot 1,000%. So let's take a look at Derek. How many points could he have had total? Well, you add these up. 7 plus 0 is 7. So he could have had 7 total points. How many positive points did he have? He had 7. So that's his fraction. Well, what's his decimal? 7 over 7 is just going to be 1.00, right? There's no division that you have to do there. If you really wanted to do the division, you could say, all right, 7 goes into 7. You could just say 1 time, right? And then what's the percentage? Well, 1.00. To say decimal to percent. Remember, we've been doing percent to decimal, swoop twice to the left. Well, it's just the opposite, swoop twice to the right. And so it's 100%. So Derek got 100% yesterday. Great job, Derek. All right, Emmanuel. His denominator is the total amount of points that he could have had. So 6 plus 2, he could have had 8. And he had 6, right? So 6 over 8, let's first simplify this. We can divide them both by 2. So 6 divided by 2 and 8 divided by 2 gives you 3/4. So that's what we're working with. So we're going to go ahead and say, all right, we have 3/4, and let's change that to a decimal. So hopefully you've memorized it, but if you haven't, we can divide the denominator into the numerator. 4 is bigger than 3, so we say decimal, decimal, 0. 4 goes into 37 times. It's 28. 2 left over. Bring down another 0. 4 goes into 20 5 times, and that's nothing left over, right? So 0.75. And then 0.75 as a percent. Again, just take the decimal, go once, twice, and you've got your 75%. Now, a couple of these are going to be a little bit more difficult, such as Jerry. He's going to start off his fraction as 7 out of 9, and that's going to be a repeating decimal. Don't worry about it. It'll be all right. Peter is going to be 6 out of 8, just like Emmanuel, so that should be easy. Basically, just have to copy that line. Miguel is 8 out of 8 because he got nothing wrong, so that should be easy. Just copy Derek's line. And then Mr. Harris is going to be 5 out of 7, so that's going to be a little tricky. Require a lot of division. That's why I gave you some extra space. That's the end of part 2.